All right. Hey, everybody. Y'all know it's Tuesday. So we back again. Well, I'm back again. We back again. Zip My Motivation podcast. Y'all know this is a completely motivational podcast where I highlight businesses, artists, and anybody who's doing something really big in our community so that they could get out there, talk about their products, talk about their business, talk about their life, motivate people to do better, have better, be better. And tonight I have Miss Samantha. She is my sister in the B Sis group, and we might talk about that a little bit. So y'all just stay tuned so y'all can hear about what B Sis is. So Samantha, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to the people. Tell them what you do, where you're from, how many Latin. I'm just playing. You could just go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey everyone, I am Samantha Minor. Where do I start? Okay. I am a mom of seven. I am a two-time cancer survivor. I own Lady Minor Boutique, where I sell products that elevate your self-care experience. What else do I do? I have a Minor Mom Makeover podcast. I do a lot of things. I do a lot.
I can understand. Let's go back to the seven kids part because you do not look like you got seven kids. So I don't know how people supposed to look if they got seven kids because I only got two. But you don't look like you got seven kids. You look amazing to
Okay.
have seven kids. So tell me about the Lady Minor. What is that? I know you said for to elevate self care. So tell me a
Yes.
little bit more about it.
Okay, so basically, when I am, as I said, I'm a two-time cancer survivor. And
Right.
back a long time ago, I used to shop at like the candle store that everybody shops at. I'm not gonna say any names. You know what I'm talking about. I used to shop there and I would buy all my candles, and the kids would laugh at me because I'd have candles all over the house. But I noticed after a while, like my candles weren't burning down all the way, and I'm like, I feel like I'm wasting my money. After
Right.
the cancer diagnosis in 2019, I really started trying to pay attention to what I was like, not just putting in my body, but putting around me. And
Right.
so for my birthday, I think it was my 39th birthday, one of my daughters was like, "What do you want for your birthday? You're so hard to shop for." And
Right.
I was like, I want a candle making kit. She's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to learn how to make candles." Like, I couldn't sleep at night, so I'd be up till 3, 4 in the morning watching candle making videos on YouTube. And I was like,
Right.
give it a try. And so she got me the kit, and I really liked it. But I felt like all the candles were looking the same. They'd be in like the 8-ounce tins, and I like bougie things.
I like bougie things too. So go ahead.
I don't like how any of these look. And so I started really researching different suppliers, and I just started finding really beautiful candle vessels. And so I have some that are shaped like pineapples and some that have lotus flowers on them.
Right.
So, but the most important thing is my candles are soy. They're all natural products that are not going to put hazardous chemicals out into your environment and make you sick.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So I heard you say two-time cancer survivor.
Oof,
Two,
yeah.
two-time cancer survivor.
Yeah,
Okay. So do you mind sharing? Because
at all. I feel like that's why I'm still here is because I'm supposed to share.
right.
Someone told me recently, like, God gives his toughest, task to his toughest soldiers. I'm like, I don't want to be tough anymore.
Find
like,
somebody else to do it. No, no, not me.
um,
Right.
so the first time was in 2019. The crazy thing is, I was in the process of a divorce, so I was out there with my freedom. I was getting it. I was outside, right?
Okay. You was outside. Outside.
So I,
Okay.
I said, sit down. Basically, I was getting ready for work one day, and I started feeling real weird, and my heart was racing,
Right.
and my bedroom door was closed, and I was like something kept telling me, open the door, open the door. So I had enough energy to get to my bedroom door and open it, and then I just laid
Right.
on the floor, and my kids were getting ready for school. And one of my daughters was sitting on the couch, and she kind of looked in my room. She said, "Are you okay?" And all I could do was give her a thumbs down. And she said, "Do I have to call 911?" I gave her a thumbs up, and she ran and got the other kids, and they called 911. And next thing I know, my house was swarmed with ambulance and EMTs, and then they got me to the emergency room, and I was in and out of consciousness. I really, quite a bit of it I don't remember from the part of it, but it turned out I have blood clots on my lungs, and then a 7-centimeter tumor on my vena cava, which controls the blood flow through the body.
Right.
So, yeah, I was in the hospital for 6 days. And yeah, and they were telling me, well, we really don't know what it is. We have an idea, but we don't know. And I found out the hard way that the doctors that do, because this was a Thursday, and I found out the hard way the doctors that do the biopsies, they take the weekends off. So I was stuck in the hospital until that following Monday to get the biopsy.
Right.
Only to find out that I still had to wait like another week or two before I can go to a cancer hospital for the diagnosis. And that's what happened. So I opted out of chemo and radiation. I did the surgery. So I have a massive scar from here down to my pelvis.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, that was rough. It was really, really rough. And so what I ended up doing was I had to call off my divorce and ask the ex-husband to come back and help
with the kids.
Yeah, which I'm grateful that he did, but on the other hand, it slowed down my healing process, because when you're going through a divorce and then something like that, it's like two don't go together.
Exactly.
Yeah, so a whole lot of therapy, and a little prayer, because as I am very open and honest to everyone, like I knew of God, but didn't really know God. And so I just went into a really deep depression and stopped talking to a lot of people. And a lot of my family didn't even know that I had cancer, because I was like, it ain't nobody's business. I'll deal with this on my own, you know?
Right.
So as time was, when COVID hit, I had already been in the house healing for like 6 months already.
Right.
So when everyone was upset that they couldn't go anywhere, I had already been.
You was already still in the house.
I was already still in the house.
Okay. So that was 2019 was the first diagnosis with cancer, but you got that removed, surgery, they took it out, and then that was, of course, the healing process. Okay. So when was the second time?
The second time, whew, now I really was out doing it then.
Samantha, I'm learning something new about you. Go ahead. This is the second time you was out doing it now.
Again, I was outside this time.
Right.
But the crazy thing is, I was just living life. I was like, okay, I'm not depressed anymore.
Right.
The divorce was completely final. I was dating, opening myself back up to love and all that good stuff. And I had just went to Daytona Beach for my 41st birthday.
Right.
I came home and I had to do my regular scan, because once you have cancer, you have to get your scans every certain number of months. And the further out it is, the furthest out you are from the first cancer diagnosis, they start spreading out your scans. So I went from every 3 months to 6 months to 9 months, and I was just getting ready to go to once a year. And I was so just confident that everything's okay, because everything had been good for about 3 years.
Right.
And so I went into Moffitt, did my scans, and then they didn't have an immediate appointment to see the doctor face to face. So I was like, we can do a Zoom call. It's fine. I'm in my pajamas in my office, and I get on the Zoom call, and then that's when she hit me with cancer's back.
Was it the same cancer, or was it something different?
Same cancer, but it was on my liver. It was a 4-centimeter tumor on my liver. And then they found 2 little spots on my lungs.
Right.
And so I said, okay. I turned down chemo the first time. I was like, let's do it this time. Whatever you say goes. But I said, I'm absolutely not doing surgery this time. So y'all could believe it, but we're not doing surgery this time, because there was no way that I was willing to try and attempt to go through that recovery again.
Right, right. That's a hard recovery. Yeah.
Extremely, extremely. So I met with the oncologist, and I always call him. At first, I was calling him just Doctor Doom and Gloom, because he just. But I understand the job that he has.
Right.
So I had to eventually understand. So I'm sitting there, and this wasn't an appointment that I felt I can get through on my own. So I called one of my best friends. I'm not originally from here. She's the closest person I have to family outside of my kids in this whole state. Um,
Right.
I called her up, and I told her the situation, and this is where I really believe like God really works, because here I was sitting here not knowing what to do in that moment when I got that news. And
Right.
this woman, we knew of each other, and but we weren't like friends yet. And
Right.
in that moment, she texted me when I got the news, and it was so random because we'd only talk like once every few months. And she texted me that day after I got the news, and I just like, I need someone to talk to. And I told her. She called me immediately, and I told her what happened, and we've been locked in ever since. She
Oh,
can't get
that's
rid of
what's
me,
up.
get rid of her.
Right. That's what's up. She was there for you.
Oh
So
yeah.
from that and from having cancer 2 times, and then you went from that to the abusive relationship, or was the relationship
That's where
was
my
that before?
that's where my older 5 kids came from. So I have the
Okay.
7 kids. The older 5 are from the person I was with in high school.
Right.
We were together for on and off for quite a few years. And here's the thing. I like to mention that and talk, because I've talked to women before that have been through abusive relationships.
Right.
And the thing is, it's been so many years, and it's something that he will still call, oh, it's just a misunderstanding, you know? And
Mm.
there's so many women out there who have, lost their lives to domestic violence, or
Definitely.
it's never a misunderstanding.
True.
So it's just, so I do believe that that relationship just led me on a path in life that I really didn't need to go down.
And it happens, and that does happen. So can you say like you still deal with some of the effects from that abuse relationship now, or that's like I'm done with it, I'm healed, or where are you at with it now?
Honestly, I feel like healing is, it's a, when they say like it's a practice, like
Right.
it's something that you have to literally focus on a daily basis, because well, yeah, I'd like to say that I'm completely healed from it. I've gone to therapy, and I've genuinely forgiven this person, but something can happen that can make me think like, oh shoot, kind of trigger you.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but it's not something I can really say that affects me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What would some advice be to you from you to a woman who's in an abusive situation right now?
Run. Because
Okay.
I was
Or
embarrassed.
I'm sorry, or men, because I don't men
Yes.
are being abused now too.
Oh,
So or
we
a man.
were all aware. Um, the thing is, my advice is don't be embarrassed, don't be afraid, because there are times in that relationship, even in my marriage, I was married for 13 years, and I did not have to be in that marriage for 13 years, because
Right.
you become embarrassed, and it's like,
Hmm.
oh, what is someone going to think of me, or that it's your life, and you really have to put yourself before you put anyone else. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's no one's business, because you don't know what the next person's going through. So
Right.
I wish somebody would have told me that. Just.
Right. Just told you to and I know sometimes it's harder to it's easy said, like just leave, just go, but then you get sucked back into those cycles over and over and over again because either you feel mentally like no one's gonna love you or you feel like that's love, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been talking to people about the word toxic, you know what I'm saying? And I keep telling them like I don't know why this is a badge of honor for y'all to say I'm toxic
Like
because
toxic. masculinity and Drake and all. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm telling them, like, do y'all know, like, just look up the definition of toxic. Like, it's like you said, a doom and gloom word. Like, why do you want to be toxic? It's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's not healthy to be in a toxic relationship or be proud of being in a toxic relationship, because you can be in a relationship that will support you in growth. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that. And I know people like, oh, well, that's a perfect relationship. No, it's a relationship where people are not toxic.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, but at the same time, when you're in that relationship, they're controlling you. They're going to tell you, oh, you're never going to find anyone. You know how many times the first one told, oh, you're never going to find anyone with 5 kids. Well, that's not true. And I'm still pulling them now with 7, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I was gonna say, I'm sure after this show, people gonna be inboxing me like, "Who's that girl? Like, who's that?" They do it all the time.
But we have to try and not listen. But when you're in that situation, and then especially when you have kids, and then you're just like, okay, what am I going to do with my kids? Where am I going to go? This is our home, and it's just really, really hard.
100%. I was in an abuse relationship, and so I had to leave a whole state to get, you know what I'm saying? So I understand what people, like, I understand that hard, because you think you love somebody and you really think that they love you.
Yeah.
But until you really learn what love is, then like, I don't have to accept that. Like, I don't have to accept people randomly screaming at me or busting my tires out, or I don't have to accept none of that. None of that. Like, that's not acceptable in a relationship.
Yeah.
So, and definitely when you have kids, because you teach your kids, they learn from you. They learn whatever they're going to learn from you. And not saying that everything that you teach them is going to be on point and correct, because parents, we're still learning too when we're parenting.
Yeah.
But it's like some things are like, come on now, you can't keep doing that.
And at the same time, then you have the parents that make excuses for their abusive children. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but I would definitely say that anyone that's in any type of abusive relationship, they need to do their best to get out. And it's so much easier said than done.
Right.
But
Right.
you at least find one person that you can trust and really try and rely on to help get you out of it.
Exactly. Miss Mary said, true facts control starts, then disrespect and arguments. So that's very true. Very, very true. So from all of those things that transpired in your life, cancer 2 times, abusive relationship, and not to put your business out there, but you're a single mom of 7 children, right?
Yeah.
So what's the age of your children?
So the youngest is 9 and the oldest is about to be 25. I only have 3 at home right now. So
that's good, girl. You did it. You did it. I be struggling with it too. I be like, whoo, I can't wait till they grow up. So, you did that. 7 kids, and so you only got 3 at home right now. So it's a little bit easier than it was before. Okay, good. And then you started your business.
Yeah.
And so I heard when you said that I started it because of all the chemicals and you didn't like the certain candles. Do you feel like the chemicals contributed to your to your cancer?
No, actually, as I went further through like therapy and things like that, and I believe that trauma caused it, to be honest with you. And I've done a lot of research, I've watched a lot of interviews, and there's a lot of people out there that do believe that trauma causes cancer.
Right.
So the best friend I told you about, Danielle, she introduced me to her godmother, Mimi. Mimi is a spiritual coach. So I was going to therapy to help with all my issues to heal me. But there were still things that cancer, I mean, not cancer, but there were things that therapy wasn't really helping with. And that was like the spiritual aspect and God. So like I mentioned earlier, I knew God, but I didn't know God. Now me and God also locked in,
Okay.
I started going to spiritual coaching with Mimi. We would do it through Zoom. So I would go on Wednesday to chemo, and then I'd come home and get in bed, and then I'd hop on Zoom with her while I'm just, letting the chemo do its work. And we would work through all my issues. And then she puts it healing the cancers that cause cancer. So, we went all the way back to my childhood and, just started the work to really get in there and just heal me through and through.
Right. You know what's so crazy is today, my son and I, my older son and I, we're doing an audible book together. And so like we're listening to it home and today that was hold on. Today that was
Oh,
one of the things I'm back.
what was it?
One of the audible books. So we were listening to this audible book together, and one of the things was talking about trauma because he's my older son, so he experienced, like the beginning traumas of my life. You know what I'm saying? My younger son, he kind of like I don't know, he just had a fluffy life. He's had a fluffy life. So, he really hasn't dealt with any major traumas except for moving from one state to another. That's traumatic for him,
Right.
but anything else he hasn't. So I'm listening to this with my son. And so, and then we talk about it afterwards, like I was telling him, like trauma starts in the beginning, like even in the womb. So I could understand where you get that perspective from as far as like the cancer coming from those traumas, just different things that you have went through in your life.
Yeah.
And then, so you're going to the spiritual coach and you're learning about yourself. And then what happens?
So here is the thing. So the day that I had mentioned that Danielle had went with me to the first appointment to speak to the oncologist about the chemo and what the process was going to be, I just remember sitting there asking, and the main thing I needed to know was because I had heard the nightmares about chemotherapy.
Hmm.
I wanted to know, am I going to be able to still take care of my kids? Because at that time I had 5 at home.
Right.
And so, and he looked me right in my eyes. He said, no, you're going to be so sick. You're not going to be able to even barely take care of yourself. And he's like, you're not even going to be able to work. He's like, sorry, I had no idea you had kids at home.
Right.
So I just remember sitting there and Danielle said, well, we'll get through it, whatever we have to do. And so I held it together while we were in there talking to him. But when I tell you I got outside the hospital and I cried my eyes out in the parking lot. But here's the thing. God is amazing because I would go into chemotherapy, have my spiritual sessions, and then I would be like tired for a couple days, and then I was up still going out and doing stuff. I was just still living life. And
Right.
I would go in for my appointments because I would have to see him before the next infusion and they draw blood and everything. And he would just look at me so amazed. He would already have an order for a blood transfusion ready to go. And the nurse was like, why do you have that? He's like, I thought she was going to need it. She's fine though. And so I was supposed to do 6 infusions. I did 4. And he came in after the 4th infusion and he looked at me. He said, I don't know what you're doing. He said, your blood work looks like someone who's not even going through chemo. He's like,
Right.
it's something about you. He's like, we're not even going to put you through the last 2. He's like, we're just going to go ahead and get you started on radiation and just be done with you.
Right.
And I
Right.
have no one to thank but God for that.
Right. Right. And so that came from the spiritual coaching. Like you've been through all this stuff in your life, and then you went and you found your spirituality, you found your balance with you and God, and then it's better. So cancer free now, no issues, everything good with you.
I go in every 3 months for my scans.
Right.
Anything that's left, there's like 2 spots. They're so small. There's nothing. There's nothing to do with them because they're just so small.
Okay, I like that. So I know you have this business, Lady Minor, and I keep saying health coach. A lot of people keep saying health, health coach. So it's health and wellness,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
it's health and wellness, and show everybody her shirt because this is one of her shirts she has for sale.
Yes. Empowered women, empower women. So with Lady Minor, during the time that I was still married, towards the end of the marriage, like I would come home, take care of the kids, and I would be bored. I don't really want to have anything to do, so I had to find ways to entertain myself. I was makeup artist for many years, And so I would come home and I'd either play in makeup and do my makeup, try new looks, or I would paint. I would make myself dinner, pour a glass of wine. But no matter what I did, I always lit a candle during that self care time. So Friday nights were mine. Everybody knew not to bother me. And
Right.
so I realized, like, even your self care time, that's therapeutic. That's healing. And
Right.
that's learning how to spend time with yourself and how to really get to know yourself and what you
Right.
enjoy. And so that's really what I like to promote. What I am promoting with Lady Minor is take that time out for yourself. So I'm always journaling. So now I have journals and I've got the candles. And so it's just really to help elevate your self-care experience. I had skincare. I'm sold out of a lot of things right now because the
Right.
holidays, but it's skincare products as well. So everything that we need, it's not just for women, it's for men as well. But I do cater to women. But I have
Right.
learned that men love candles.
Girl, men love shea butters and all. So I'll be so surprised at the stuff they be like, yeah, let me get some of that too.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. I'm really excited for you. I know you had one more product that I wanted you to show. You had something else with you. I know you had the shirt and then you had the candle.
I have some candles with me. So they are rather big.
So
This,
those are big candles. Okay. And those are all natural products, right? It made with the
yeah,
okay,
they're
good.
all natural. They're all natural.
Okay, great, great, great. Well, Miss Lady, you did a great job. I know we want to mention because I want to just tell the people real quick how we know each other. So we know each other from BSIS, which is Black Sisters in Synergy. It's a great group. Y'all got to get on Facebook and find it, get involved. A bunch of ladies, both of us are admins. And so Samantha, I'll let them tell you to let you tell them what you do in BSIS.
Okay. So I handle all of the marketing, social media, and PR for BSIS, which I like to think that my job is with the group is really fun because I'm the one that's making all the content and recording and coming out meeting everyone. And so I really enjoy it.
Cool. And I don't know, not just playing. I know I do the mindset part of it. So I do the coach, well, the mindset coaching, mostly just posting and the self-care or self-healing events, spirituality part of it. So that's me, but that's the group that we know each other from, but we definitely want to highlight that in the interview. So hey B sis.
Yeah.
Um, can you let the people know where they can find you, especially if they want to order a product, they want to order a candle or that shirt because that shirt is really cute. So I think I want one.
So you can find me. The website is ladyminor.com. On Instagram, it's Lady Minor Boutique. And you can follow my personal Instagram, which I'm on there probably too much, but it's Samantha Jade Minor on
Mhm.
Instagram. But I'm there all the time and posting away.
All right. So before you leave, I always have the person say something motivational or give a motivational tip to the people, something that they can take with them. So, what is your motivational spiel?
Oh my goodness. So for me, it would be because a lot of people feel like, just me personally as a mother, especially a mother of seven, a lot of people will look down at you and think that you can't achieve something because you have kids or whatever the case may be. So my advice is don't let anything stop you. If God puts something in your heart to do, he already knows that you're equipped to carry out that purpose, whatever it is. So
Right.
just don't let it
Right.
stop you.
Right. Be unstoppable. That's my favorite thing. I tell my kids that like almost every single day. Be unstoppable. So thank y'all for viewing the show. Thank y'all for staying on. Oh, my grandma Mary said, "Don't talk about her baby." I was talking about my son, but she said she enjoyed the conversation, and she said she spent her check helping someone out in her town. She's a lawyer now, and then she randomly talks to her. So she helped someone out that was in her town. Now the person is a lawyer, and has a shelter for battered women. So that's a great, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a great thing. So even Samantha talked about being abused. There are battered women shelters, or get with a good friend or somebody that you can talk to and you know what I'm saying, support you in leaving that situation. I'm not going to say it's easy because it's really hard sometimes, but you can do it. You
Absolutely.
can honestly do it. So, but this is it, my motivation. This is the Tuesday highlight of business artists, entrepreneur, whatever you do that's motivational. This is your highlight day. So I love y'all and good night.